welcome back to the channel. Today's already been a bit of an interesting day. I woke up, had a shower, made a coffee. It was beautiful sunshine when I started, and then just as I was about to walk out the door, it got almost completely dark outside and absolutely bucketed it down with rain, and it has done that on and off throughout most of the day. But we're here, it's like 3:30 in the afternoon now, and the sun has come out again, so I'm gonna try and make this video. Today's video is gonna be a little different than the normal videos. We're not gonna be sort of running around all over town and checking things out, because we are just over halfway through our first season here now on the channel. And I thought I would do kind of a catch-up video where we talk about my experience thus far with YouTube and making these videos, some of my personal experiences, and then kind of a little bit of a surprise at the end. So starting with YouTube and making these videos, few things I've learned along the way. First and foremost, I did not anticipate some of the issues that I was going to have with just simply capturing the footage. You saw me make the comment in Istanbul about the crowds, but it's also been about shooting inside some of the buildings we've been to, especially like the Parliament buildings, the castles in Bucharest. Whenever I've filmed for myself, I've always had a lot of time to sort of mess around and play with shots. Where in these buildings you're kind of ushered from one room or one place to the next quite quickly, and so trying to capture footage that isn't completely filled with people in it has been really challenging. And the other one is just getting the shots the way I'd like them. As I said, when I would shoot before for my own just personal hobby, I could sit there and spend time making adjustments to the camera settings, switching lenses, doing all sorts of things to kind of get the shot as close to the way I would like to see it as possible. Where in these environments, I just don't have that time. And so in a lot of cases, I'm just having to take the shots and hope for the best. I don't even want to explain to you the volume of what I consider good shots that I have that are unfortunately due to lighting conditions or other factors are just completely unusable, which has been eye-opening to say the least, and something that I will be looking at ways to fix for season 2 for sure. And the other thing with making these videos is something that really is a personal thing that has to do with my OCD more than anything. And that is the time frame that I have to edit them. Again, when this was just a hobby, I could spend hours and hours and hours, days even, tweaking, modifying, color correcting, and doing all these little things to get the videos exactly the way I kind of wanted them, or as best as I felt they could be made. Where traveling and maintaining the pace of uploading 2 videos a week, I just don't have that time. And so at a certain point during the editing process, I have to kind of sit down and go, okay, that's as good as I'm going to be able to get it in the time that I have, and I've got to have to call it good because I have to move on to the next video. I have to start writing, planning, and executing the next video. Otherwise, the next video is just never going to get made. And so for someone like myself that kind of fixates on the details and the finishing touches of things, that's been a really hard one for me to sort of wrap around in my brain and be like, no, you've got to just call it and say that's good and move on. Which is kind of cool because that's created an interesting challenge for me that I've had to overcome. The next thing I would say is we move on to stuff that's more of, shall we say, personal observation, and things that I've kind of picked up on for me. On more of a personal note, there's been a couple of things I've sort of come across on my journey so far on this road. The first one's a pretty simple one, and that is no matter where I end up moving forward, I'm going to want to live near the water. And that one kind of sunk home for me when I was in Istanbul. After being away from the water for so long, and being in that kind of like hectic and crazy environment that is Istanbul, the thing that brought me a sense of calm and relaxation was just sitting there staring out over the water. There's just something about the water, going back to all the way till I was a kid, that I've always had a connection with. I don't know what it is, I don't know why, but it definitely was the most prevalent and noticeable when I was in Istanbul. And so no matter where I end up, I'm definitely going to want to be near the water somewhere. The other one that I've kind of come across was a little bit deeper of a realization. And that was something that I discovered when I was in England. Now, I had an amazing time spending the few days that I did up in London and getting to travel around London. But it was the time I spent off camera that really impacted me more than anything else. Now, I got to see family and family friends that I hadn't seen in decades. And as you can imagine, with something like that, I was pretty anxious and nervous in meeting everybody. Because, you know, when 20, 30 years goes by, a lot of things changes for a lot of people. Life throws us all curveballs, and those curveballs can dramatically affect the people we become. So I really didn't know what to expect. And I was met with warmth, supportiveness, and just general kindness as a whole. You could say welcome with open arms. And as strange as this sounds, I kind of struggled with that at first. Let me explain. For a very long time, I would say since I was in my early teens, pretty much every relationship that I have had in my life, whether it's friendships or partners, they've all been predicated based on me providing something to that relationship. Whether it be mental, emotional support or understanding or guidance, financially in some situations, or, you know, they see me as a potential opportunity to help propel their career forward in some way or some aspect. But needless to say, it's always been based upon me being able to provide something, and getting nothing usually really in return. And I just kind of always looked at it as that's, you know, kind of the price I paid to have the friends that I did or the relationships that I had. And whenever I would start to sort of cut back on whatever it is that I was putting in to try and balance out sort of the effort being provided on both sides, those friendships or relationships would very quickly dwindle and disappear. And so when I came to England, I was surrounded by people that were providing me, you know, love and support and kindness, warmth and security, and they weren't asking for anything in return. There was no expectation of me providing something for those things. And I couldn't quite understand that at first. The pessimistic, skeptical side of me was kind of thinking, you know, what am I missing here? When's the other shoe gonna drop here? Which is horrible to say, but it's the truth. And then I had a couple of sleepless nights trying to sort of figure that out in my brain. And what I realized is that no matter where I end up or where I find myself eventually, those are definitely the types of relationships that I would like to surround myself with. I don't know how to cultivate or grow those types of relationships, how to acquire those types of connections. But I got to figure that out, because that is definitely the type of people I need around me in my future. So I'd like to end today's video with one final topic, and that is this time of year. And of course, I'm speaking about Christmas time. Now, I get for a lot of people, Christmas can be very stressful, almost looked upon as a burden rather than a blessing. I try to look at Christmas through the eyes of myself when I was a child. I try to take a small amount of time and embrace Christmas with the sense of magic and wonderment that I had back then, and embrace the concept of endless possibilities for me and my future. And I'd like to try and spark that in you guys, to try and give you a little bit of Christmas spirit. And the only way I know how to try and do that is by creating videos. And so over the next 2.5 to 3 weeks, I am going to be creating what I call the Road to Christmas, a series of videos that will hopefully invigorate the Christmas spirit in you. Hopefully it'll work. Hopefully you'll enjoy them. It's going to be a lot of traveling. I'm going to be hitting a lot of places in a very short period of time. But it should also be a hell of a lot of fun. So yeah, join me next time when we start that journey. Thank you for joining me on today's video and this kind of catch-up video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please click the like button and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy any of my videos. And I will see you next video when we start our new little detour road.